Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Off the Rip. And yeah, we're literally just coming off the track, just finished ripping this weekend out at Cycle Ranch in Floresville, Texas. If any of y'all been, it's a pretty sweet track. Anyway, let's talk about Anaheim too, because it was a great night of racing. We were blessed with another awesome night of racing. Start off fantasy picks. Who the hell is getting fantasy picks right? Because mine have been so shot out this entire season. Well, we're 3 races in, but they've been so bad. I can't seem to get any of them right, and I've never been this bad. So if you're getting your fantasy picks correct, congratulations. Drop a comment. Let me know if you're killing it. But if you're struggling like me, I'm right there with you guys. We're in the struggle boat, but hopefully we can pull out of it and get some good results for Glendale. My number one pick dropped the ball. Unfortunately, Eli Tomac, he spun out on the gate. So it was pretty much over from there. And then Jet ran away with it. But to go over my picks, first place, I put Tomac. Second, I had Chase Sexton. Third, Jet Lawrence. I thought Jet might have an off night. Maybe the bike might not suit him. I don't know. Cooper Webb, fourth. And Ken Roczen, fifth. And Dylan Ferrandis was my wild card pick for 12th. We kind of got a repeat of the results from Anaheim 1, except Chase Sexton. It was Jet Lawrence who won. So maybe you played it smart and you played the A1 route, but nah, I didn't think that was going to happen, but it kind of did. Let's talk about some wild moments, though, because there were quite a bit of wild moments from Anaheim, too. So let's get into that. All right, so now looking at the wild moments from Anaheim 2. A lot of riders went down, unfortunately. There were even some riders that got down on the track while practice was going on. That was Braden Spangle. And
his name is John Cena!
The rider was actually Wyatt Matson, who actually spent some time at Star Racing Yamaha as a mechanic. So the rhythm after the start was claiming some guys. We saw it claim Marshall Welton in practice. And then we saw Kyle Chisholm in the night show take a pretty hard hit there. We saw the Whoop Monster come out to play with Jordan Smith there in the main event. By any means, it's not Thanksgiving, but there was plenty of stuffing. We saw Justin Starling stuff Hunter Schlosser in that 450 LCQ. And then the big one from the night, which wasn't really a dirty pass, but it was Haiden Deegan taking Julien Beaumer high. It just made things interesting, just made things wild. You're like, gets you fired up, set the tone for the night. So that was pretty awesome. And then the most wild thing afterwards was when Haiden Deegan went for that triple and almost ended his career. Somehow he saved it and got so lucky to ride that one out. But what a wild ride in Anaheim. Moving on to the 450s, the biggest storyline to come out of Anaheim 2 is that Ken Roczen now has the red plate. So one thing that we noticed is that the red plate is really heavy. We saw Chase Sexton carry it into San Diego, and then he went down on the first lap right off the start. We saw Eli Tomac have the red plate for Anaheim 2, and then right off the start, he loses it, pretty much lost the race right there. So now Ken Roczen going into Glendale, which is Ken Roczenville, pretty much. He really excels in those long rhythms, hence Red Bull straight rhythm, him just killing it there. But, last year he did really well. I'm assuming this year he's going to do really well. But you got that red front number plate that might just tuck the front, might spin him out on the gate. I don't know. He definitely does have to get a good start if he's going to want to keep this thing, because you have some fast guys chasing Ken Roczen. And speaking of that, Jet Lawrence, damn, dude, he looks freaking good. I didn't think he was going to do this good. It was kind of like a hit or miss. It looks like he's got it pretty much figured out and that he's back. So he's going to be pretty tough to hold off, especially with just coming off this win. Eli Tomac, he's hungry. He wants to redeem himself. But the thing about Eli Tomac in this race, he cannot have another blow-off race, I feel like. If he gets another bad start, falls in the first corner, it's like, man, he just has his work cut out for him. And that's not going to really help him in the championship, obviously. I mean, talk about the track. The track was actually pretty cool. I liked the layout, but it was going to be really tough to pass on. like Ricky said on the broadcast. And then with the rain coming down, just made it even harder to pass. Track was kind of slippery. You saw some riders getting some wheel spin. So it just made it so much harder for Eli to make passes. But damn, dude, he was moving through the pack for real. I was like, damn, dude. And then even Webb had some fight towards the end, which was pretty crazy. Another thing, big thing, it's a Triple Crown coming up. So with this field and it being so inconsistent, but the rider who's been the most consistent is Ken Roczen. And the Triple Crown, you got Ken Roczen's type track with the long rhythms. Might be Eli Tomac's too because of those long lanes, and you know he lets the 450 Yamaha bark, unlike me. Okay. All right, I gotta give myself more credit, but maybe in first gear I let it bark. Anyway, that's all for the 450 class. Let's move on to the 250s. All right, so man, it is heating up in this 250 class. Julien, Beaumer, Haiden, Deegan are the ones to watch right now. I mean, they're even trolling each other on Instagram, which is pretty cool. They're keeping it pretty light.
You know, you pissed off the bull last week. Juju ran his mouth, so it's time to lock in.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Haiden Deegan sets the tone for the night, going for that block pass. You know, Julian's going to want to return the favor at some point in the season, so that's going to be good. I'm giving props to Haiden Deegan for saying I'm expecting it, bring it on. So hell yeah, I love to see that from these two young kids. Speaking about young kids, the rookie Drew Adams, Mitch Payton's last send-off for the West Coast, coming in to save the PC team. Ends up finishing 8th in his first ever Supercross. He's under the magnifying glass because Cole Davies, who he battled with in SMX, is doing pretty good. He landed himself on the podium at A2, so maybe Drew Adams is watching Cole Davies, do it pretty big and get on the podium, and that's in the future. Or will he just kind of play it safe, get experience, and just try to excel next season? Looking at the fast segments, Julien Beaumer had one fast segment, but you can see that Haiden Deegan, he was the fastest in majority of the sections. So maybe Glendale can cater to Julien Beaumer. Also, it's a big thing to go into the break since we're going to the East Coast after Glendale with the win. So that's going to be huge. Haiden Deegan needs another win. He saved himself. He saved his season by getting this win at A2. So we're probably going to see him send it and try to go into the break on top. Last thing about the 250 class is Joe Shimoda riding with all the heart. He went from hitting the gritty to just getting down and being gritty. He doesn't want to give up this championship, and maybe he feels a certain way. I mean, he won the first round, and I think he has this I think he has confidence in himself. He has to be thinking like, man, I've been killing it in the offseason. I'm fast. I can win this championship. So props to him for sticking it out. Let's see if he can hopefully have some better results in Glendale and go into the break, heal up, come back, and just start firing and maybe click off some wins. So that's pretty much it. I'm excited about this Triple Crown in Glendale. It's going to be sick. We'll see if I can finally get some picks right in RM Fantasy. And we'll see it all go down. I'll be here on Off the Rip next week to talk about it with you guys. Peace.